Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from Group 2 and we are going to explain about cooperation and implicature. Before that, I'm going to introduce myself and my friends first. My name is Adhillah Pratiwi Octaviyanti and there are Adinya Kalya Kaulika, Alfiani Haerunnisa, and Ghulam Ikhwan Fhadilla. And then the outline topics for this material is, of course, cooperation, implicature, the cooperative principle, and the last one is H's. And now I'm going to explain about the first topic, which is cooperation. So, cooperation refers to the principle that participants in a conversation work together to ensure successful communication. This means that speakers strive to be informative, clear, relevant, and truthful, while listeners make efforts to understand, provide feedback, and contribute to flow of conversation. Or in simple terms, when people talk to each other, they usually trust that the other person is being honest and helpful. Or this trust is called cooperation. It means that in a conversation, people generally believe that others are not trying to confuse or deceive them. I'm going to give you an example. When someone says, my car, we usually assume that they really do have a car and they are not trying to trick you. This trust helps conversations work smartly because it means we can understand each other better. So, cooperation is like the first step in making sense of what someone says. It's like the basic idea that people have in a conversation are trying to help each other and not make things difficult. Now we move on into the second topic, which is about implicature. So, implicature is a pragmatic inference drawn from an utterance that goes beyond its literal meaning. So, it occurs when the speaker implies something without explicitly stating it, and the listener invers the intended meaning based on contextual clues, background knowledge, and shared understanding. Uh, and implicatures can be categorized into some types. The first one is conversational implicature, generalized conversational implicature, scalar implicature, particularized conversational implicature, properties of conversational implicature, and the last one is conventional implicatures. Now I'm going to give you an example of implicature itself. So there is a conversation between person A and person B. So the person A is asking person B, "Do you have any plans for the weekend?" And the person B responds, "I have a lot of work to catch up on." So the implicator here is that the person B is busy and likely not available for social activities. So although the person B didn't explicitly say they are unavailable, but the context and the response imply it. So, cooperation between the participants facilitates effective communication, while implicature enrich the meaning conveyed in the conversation beyond literal interpretation. And that's the topic about cooperation and implicature. And the next material is about the cooperative principle will be explained by Ghulam and Adinya.
So, the cooperative principle is a fundamental concept in pragmatics which is concerned with the study of practical aspects of human actions and thought. It is a guiding principle that describes how people interact with each other in conversation, aiming to achieve effective communication. It is introduced by philosopher H. Paul Greece. The cooperative principle assumes that participants in a conversation normally attempt to be informative, truthful, relevant, and clear. In pragmatics, the cooperative principle is crucial for understanding how people derive meaning from a language. It highlights the importance of considering the context in which language is used, as well as the speaker's intention and the listener's expectation. This principle is essential for effective communication as it helps to reduce ambiguity and ensure that the intended meaning is conveyed. The cooperative principle has been applied in various contexts, including linguistics, sociology, and psychology, to analyze and understand human communication. It has also been used to study how people communicate in different cultures and how cultural differences can affect communication. Consider the following scenario. There is a woman sitting on a park bench and a large dog laying on the ground in front of the bench. A man comes along and sits down with the woman in the bench and said, "Does your dog bite?" "No," she said. The man reaches down to pet the dog and the dog bites the man's hand, and then the man said, "Ouch, hey, you said your dog doesn't bite." She said, "He doesn't, but it doesn't," or "But that's not my dog." One of the problems in this scenario has to do with communication. Specifically, it seems to be a problem caused by the man's assumption that more was communicated than was said. It isn't a problem with presupposition because the assumption in your dog, in case the woman has a dog, is true for both speakers. The problem is the man's assumption that his question, "Does your dog bite?" and the woman's answer, "No." Both apply to the dog in front of them. From the man's perspective, the woman's answer provides less information than expected. In other words, he might be expected to provide the information stated in the last line. Of course, if she had mentioned this information earlier, the story wouldn't be as funny for the event. To be funny, the woman has to give less information than is expected. The concept of there being an expected amount of information provided in the conversation is just one aspect of the more general idea that people involved in a conversation will cooperate with. In case to do other, of course, the woman in the conversation may actually be indicating that she does not want to take part in any cooperative interaction with the stranger or the man. In most circumstances, the assumption of cooperation is so pervasive that it can be stated as a cooperative principle of conversation and elaborated in four sub-principles called maxims. And maxims will be explained later. So, in summary, the cooperative principle make your conversational contribution such as is required at the state at which it occurs by the accepted purpose or direction of the talk exchange in which you are engaged. So the next matter will be explained by my friend.
And the next material will be presented by me. So, in most circumstances, the assumption of cooperation is so pervasive that it can be stated as a cooperative principle of conversation and elaborated in four sub-principles called maxims. The first maxim is maxim of quantity. These maxims emphasize the importance of providing the necessary information without being overly verbose or vague. Say no less than the conversation requires and say no more than the conversation requires. The next maxim is maxims of quality. These maxims emphasize the importance of honesty and accuracy in communication. So don't say what you believe to be false and don't say things for which you lack evidence. The third maxim is maxim of relation. This maxim emphasizes the importance of staying on topic and avoiding unnecessary tangents or off-topic discussion. So you have to be relevant. And the last maxim is maxim of manner. This maxim emphasizes the importance of being concise, organized, and easy to be understood in communication. Avoid obscurity of expression and avoid ambiguity. You have to be precise, be brief, be orderly, and be clear. All these maxims are not rigid rules, but rather guidelines that help facilitate effective communication. They are based on the assumption that speakers and listeners are cooperative and mutually accept each other's intention to communicate effectively. It is important to recognize this maxim as unstated assumptions we have in conversation. And the next material will be presented by Alfiani.
The next material is about hedges. Hedges are linguistic devices used to indicate uncertainty or caution in speech. Press used in conversation to signal that what the speaker is saying may not be entirely accurate or relevant. Hedges are used for navigate social interaction smoothly, showing sensitivity to conversational norm and avoiding potential misunderstanding or conflict. They help us maintain cooperation in communication by signaling our awareness of the complexity of language use. Example of hedges. Accuracy hedges. These indicate uncertainty about the truthfulness or accuracy of a statement. Examples include as far as I know or I may be mistaken. Relevant hedges. They suggest a potential deviation from the main topic or relevance to conversation. Phrases like by the way or anyway can serve as relevant hedges. Manner hedges. They show awareness of how information is being conveyed. They make signal confusion or uncertainty about how something is expressed. Like this may be a bit confused, but hedges demonstrate a speaker attempt to adhere conversational norm such as the maximum of quantity, giving just the right amount of information, relevance, staying on topic, and manner, being clear and orderly. They show that the speaker is conscious of that norm and is making an effort to observe them. Hedges are generally used to maintain cooperative communication. These are situations like in formal setting or when privacy is at stake where speaker may intentionally violate conversational norm. Even in this case, the listener often infers more from the speaker words than is explicitly stated, leading to conversational implicatures of implicit meaning. In a sense, hedges are linguistic tools help us navigate the complexities of conversation, showing our awareness of social norms and facilitating smooth communication. That's all. Thank you.
Okay, so with all the material has already been delivered, now I'd like to just end the presentation. Thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.